Welcome back to Undercover, Waterproofing and Underpinning Secrets. This is the deep dive from us here at DGI Waterproofing.
Following our last session, where we really dug into the flood risk across the GTA, the response was, frankly, incredible.
It was so many questions. It's clear homeowners get the threat now, but what they really need to know is the solution.
Exactly. The message was loud and clear. People want to know what to do.
Right. We've covered the why, so today we're all about the how. How do you actually protect your home? This is the great waterproofing showdown, interior versus exterior systems.
And it's really not just about what's cheaper. It's about finding the right strategic fit for your specific home.
Before we jump into the methods, though, there's a force we have to talk about first because it dictates everything. Hydrostatic pressure.
Yes, the one. Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't heard that term, what exactly are we up against here?
So, put simply, it's just the pressure from water that's sitting still. When the ground around your home gets totally saturated after a big Toronto rainstorm, that water has to go somewhere.
And it pushes.
It pushes incredibly hard. It pushes against your foundation walls, and this is key, it pushes up from under your concrete floor slab.
And that immense pressure is what finds every little crack and weakness.
That's it. So the two systems are really just two different philosophies for dealing with that pressure.
Okay, so let's start with the first philosophy. Exterior.
We see exterior waterproofing as the proactive approach, the fortress strategy.
Building a moat?
Kind of, yeah. The goal is to stop water and manage that pressure before it even touches your foundation. You're preserving the concrete itself.
And then the other side of the coin is interior waterproofing.
Right. That's the management approach. It works on the idea that water is going to get to your foundation, especially with the high water tables we have here in the GTA.
So you don't stop it, you control it.
You control it. You efficiently manage and redirect that water the second it gets in, moving it away before it can do any damage inside.
So the big takeaway here is it's not really better versus worse. It's about prevention versus redirection.
Exactly. It all depends on your house, your property, and where that pressure is coming from.
Okay, let's start with the inside job then. Interior waterproofing.
Right. So this is all about controlling water that's already made its way through the foundation wall.
What are the components? It sounds almost like building a little plumbing system inside your basement.
It is, essentially. The main part is the drainage channels. We break up a small trench of concrete around the inside perimeter of the basement floor.
Right where the wall meets the floor.
Exactly. And in that trench, we install perforated pipes. We call them weeping tiles. Their job is just to collect any water that comes down the wall or, importantly, up from under the slab.
So those pipes are like the collection gutter. Where does all that water end up?
It all gets channeled to the lowest point in the system, which is the sump pit. That leads to the second critical piece, a really reliable sump pump.
The workhorse.
The workhorse. It just automatically kicks on and pumps all that collected water out of your house and away from the property. Sometimes we'll also add a sealant or a membrane to the inside wall to help with, general dampness.
When do you, at DGI, recommend this system? When is this the right call for a homeowner?
Well, it's great for what we'd call less severe issues. Some dampness on the walls, maybe that white powdery stuff, efflorescence, or just occasional leaks.
And I'm guessing it's perfect for finished basements.
Oh, absolutely. It's often the only practical solution there because you want to protect your drywall, your flooring, that investment you've already made. We do all the work from the inside, so we keep that living space dry.
What about for those tricky properties, like a semi-detached home in the city or a house on a weird slope?
Yes, a huge one. Yeah. If you can't excavate outside because you're right up against a neighbor or you have a big deck you don't want to rip out, interior is really your most practical option.
Let's get down to it then, the pros and cons.
Yeah.
The big pro is obviously cost.
It's a massive advantage financially. An interior system is, I'd say, 40 to 60% less expensive than doing a full exterior dig.
And way less disruptive.
Minimal disruption.
Yeah.
We're working in your basement, not turning your yard into a construction site. It's fast, too, usually 1 to 3 days, and we can do it any time of year.
That's a big deal. Getting a leak in January and being told you have to wait till spring is not what you want to hear.
No. And another huge pro, going back to that pressure, it's amazing at managing the water pushing up through the floor. It gives that rising water an easy escape route into the pipes.
Okay, so what about the drawbacks? The biggest one has to be that the foundation wall itself is still getting wet.
That is the core compromise. Okay. Yeah, it's a reactive solution. The water still makes contact over many, many years. That can contribute to slow deterioration of the concrete.
And you're also relying on a machine.
You are. A sump pump is essential, but it needs maintenance. You should test it annually, and it'll probably need replacing every 7 to 10 years. And of course, if the power goes out,
You better have a battery backup.
you need a good battery backup, yes.
All right, let's talk about the reality check on cost here in the GTA. What are we looking at?
For a typical basement, a full perimeter system, you're probably in the range of, say, $6,000 to $18,000.
This is maybe 70 to 180 bucks a linear foot, give or take.
That's about right. But this is where we have to talk about a huge advantage for anyone living in Toronto proper.
The city rebates.
The basement flooding protection subsidy. It's a game changer. Because these jobs often involve a sump pump and maybe a backwater valve, homeowners can get significant money back.
How much are we talking about?
It can be up to $6,650. So you take a $10,000 interior job, and suddenly your actual costs could be under $4,000. It makes proper waterproofing accessible for so many more people.
Okay, so if interior is about managing the water inside, let's go outside and talk prevention. You've called this open heart surgery before.
It really is. Exterior waterproofing is, without a doubt, the most robust long-term fix, but it is invasive.
Walk me through what a homeowner actually sees when you show up.
They see a big excavator. The first step is a massive dig. We have to trench all the way down to the foundation footing, often 5, 6, even 8 feet deep.
That's goodbye garden.
Yeah, your landscaping, decks, pathways, they all have to be moved temporarily. One client said their yard looked like a war zone for a couple of weeks. And, he wasn't wrong. It's a major disruption.
That's the big hurdle for people. So once the wall is exposed, what happens?
First, we prep it. We clean it down completely and repair any cracks we find with hydraulic cement. Then comes the real protection. We apply a heavy-duty waterproof membrane.
Like wrapping the whole foundation.
Exactly. Think of it like a seamless, custom-fit rubber boot for your foundation. This is what physically stops water from ever touching the concrete again. After that, we put in brand new weeping tiles at the bottom to drain any water away, and then we backfill.
When is all that upheaval
actually
necessary?
This is the gold standard for severe problems. Chronic flooding, major structural cracks, or if the foundation itself is really starting to deteriorate. And it's standard for any new construction. This is the fix that gives you 20, 30, even more years of peace of mind.
So here's the question I know people are thinking. If an interior system can keep my finished basement dry for, say, 10 grand, why would I ever spend $35,000 for the exterior surgery?
And that's the core question. It comes back to the difference between a dry basement and a dry foundation.
Okay.
The interior system keeps your living space dry, absolutely, but the exterior system protects the structure itself. By stopping water from touching the concrete, you're shielding it from the freeze-thaw cycles and erosion that break it down over the long term.
So it's an investment in the building's longevity.
Precisely. If you're putting a high-end apartment or living space in that basement, the exterior system just gives you maximum security and adds real value to the property.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's talk about those costs. $15,000 to $35,000 or more is a huge range. What drives that price?
It's almost all labor and site conditions. Digging in easy soil might be closer to $100 a foot. But if we hit that dense GTA clay or rocks, or if your foundation is 10 feet deep instead of 7,
The work just explodes.
it becomes exponentially harder and slower. And access is huge. Digging a narrow side yard by hand costs a lot more than bringing in a machine in an open backyard.
Okay, so the big cons are the high cost and the massive disruption. And it takes longer, a week or two, and you can't do it in the winter.
It's a trade-off. But the benefit is you're getting proactive structural protection that needs almost no long-term maintenance.
So let's put them head to head. Quick comparison.
Let's do it.
Okay, cost. Interior wins. Easy, especially with the GTA subsidies.
No question.
Durability and maintenance. Exterior has to win there. Set it and forget it for decades.
Yep, exterior wins.
Disruption. Interior wins again. You clear out your basement, but your yard is safe.
For sure. But, and I have to say it again, the biggest factor is that trade-off.
Dry basement versus dry foundation.
It's symptom management versus an actual cure for the structure.
Which brings us to a solution we recommend a lot at DGI, which is kind of the marriage of the two, the hybrid approach.
The hybrid system is often the smartest play. It recognizes that you might not need to spend 35 grand digging up your whole house if only one wall is the real problem.
Right. You can be strategic. Tell me more about that East York case study you mentioned. What made a hybrid solution perfect there?
So this client had chronic leaks, but when we looked closely, almost all the serious water intrusion and cracking was on one single wall, the north wall.
Why just there?
The neighbor's yard sloped directly at their house, dumping all the rain against that wall. Plus, they had huge tree roots pushing against the foundation just on that side. The other walls were just dealing with normal, water table pressure.
So the root cause was localized. It was
Yeah.
an attack on one front.
Exactly. So we did a targeted exterior job, the full, big, membrane, everything, but only on that 35-foot problem wall. We cured the disease where it was worst.
But you didn't stop there.
No, because they still had that high water table. So to give them total peace of mind, we also installed a full interior drainage system with a sump pump around the entire perimeter to handle any of that general water pressure coming from below.
That sounds like the best of both worlds.
It was. We fixed the structural problem outside and added the management system inside. The total cost was around $16,600, way less than a full exterior job.
And then they got the subsidy.
And then, because we installed a new sump pump, they got the City of Toronto rebate, which brought their net cost down to under $15,000. That's premium, long-term protection for the price of a mid-range job. It's just smart.
Okay, so the decision isn't just a simple binary choice. For someone listening right now, just starting this journey, what's the checklist they should run through?
We tell every homeowner to look at 4 things. First, budget. Is it tight? Then, interior is your starting point, 100%. Flexible. Then you can aim for exterior or hybrid.
Second has to be access.
For sure. Are you semi-detached? Have a brand new stone patio you can't rip up? Interior is probably your best bet. Wide open yard. Exterior is on the table.
Third, what's the purpose of the basement?
This is a big one. Is it just for storage and your furnace? An interior system is perfectly fine to keep things dry, but if it's a finished apartment you're renting out for thousands a month,
You want that extra security.
you want the maximum peace of mind that an exterior or hybrid system provides.
And last, timeline. If you have water coming in right now, you need it fixed fast.
And an interior system can be done in just a couple of days.
So, as professionals at DGI, what's the single biggest mistake you see people make?
Choosing based on price alone, just picking the cheapest quote without understanding what they're actually getting.
That $5,000 quote sounds great until the system fails in 3 years and floods your new basement.
Exactly. And now you have to pay to do it all over again, plus replace your floors. You have to look at the total value, the quality of the materials, the warranty, the company's reputation. A $9,000 system that lasts 20 years is infinitely cheaper than a $5,000 one that fails.
We want to leave you with a really clear takeaway here. Water problems, they just don't fix themselves. That little damp spot you noticed, that musty smell, that's the start of a much bigger problem.
It is. And taking action now, before it becomes a major mold issue or a structural problem, is the most important thing you can do to protect your home's value and your family's health.
Our whole approach at DGI Waterproofing is about giving you an honest assessment that's tailored to your situation.
We don't just push the most expensive option. We look at the water source, we look at your foundation, your property, your budget, and then we design the system interior, exterior, or that smart hybrid that really solves your problem.
So if you're ready to stop worrying every time it rains, give us a call for a free consultation and assessment.
You can reach us at 647-483-2455, or just visit us online at dgwaterproofing.ca. We're here to help you find the right solution.
And a final thought to leave you with, and it connects back to that hydrostatic pressure we talked about at the start. An exterior system is the best defense for your walls, no doubt. But remember that water pressure is also pushing up from under your floor. So ask yourself this, even if you protect the walls, will you always have that pressure from below? And if so, is an interior system designed specifically to relieve that subslab pressure an essential part of any long-term solution? The answer might surprise you. Until next time, stay dry.